Nehemiah 6 from our series, A Mind to Work. I don't have too much meat left on this message after last week. I don't know who was the teacher last week. I don't know what his name is. I don't know who he related to. I didn't watch the service because I didn't want to think people to think that we were talking. But when my son come home and texted me and said, man, so-and-so did his thing last week, I knew that had to have been some good teaching and preaching. Would y'all help me celebrate one of the greatest voices that the kingdom has ever had, Brother DeAndre Peterson. Come on, celebrate him. Bless you. Amen. He is the husband of Dewana Peterson. Yeah, that is his songbird. Amen. Amen. Nehemiah 6, verses 1 through 6. Look what it says. It says, when Sanballat, Tobiah, and Geshem, the Arab, and the rest of our enemies, somebody say my enemies, heard that I had rebuilt the wall and that there were no more breaks in it, even though I hadn't yet installed the gates, Sanballat and Geshem sent this message, come and meet with us at Kephraim in the valley of Ono. I knew that they were scheming. Here it is. I knew that they were scheming to hurt me. So I sent messages back with this. I am doing a great work, and I cannot come down. Why should the work come to a standstill just so I can come down to see you? 4 times they sent this message, and 4 times I gave them my answer. The 5th time, same message, same messenger, same message. Sanballat sent an unsealed letter with this message. The word is out among the nations, and Geshem saying, it's true that you and the Jews are planning to rebel. That's why you're rebuilding the wall. The word is that you want to be king, and that you have appointed prophets to announce in Jerusalem there's a king in Judah. The king is going to be told all this. Don't you think we should sit down and have a talk? I sent him back this. There's nothing to what you're saying. You made it all up. They were trying to intimidate us into quitting. They thought they'll give up. They thought they'll give up. They'll never finish. They'll never finish it. I prayed, give me strength. From that whole dialogue and clapping back, texting back, and posting back, I want to try to come to a conclusion on our series, From the Mind to Work, from this topic, the nerve of you. Come on, the nerve. Look at somebody and say, the nerve of you. Yeah, we're coming into a place now where we're starting to see things heat up between Nehemiah and his haters. And Nehemiah has received the message from Sanballat, and he sent several messages back. And it all starts because Nehemiah overhears that the walls in Jerusalem has not been rebuilt, and he gets the notion to go back and rebuild it. And just at the hearing of this great exploit, Sanballat is upset. And I want to pause to tell you that could it be that a lot of the frustration with the people going on around you is based upon not what you've accomplished, but the ability that you have to finish? That just on hearing what Nehemiah wanted to do, the Bible says that Sanballat, the Samaritan, he was grieved every day, upset at the possibility that Nehemiah, in his systematically way of putting this thing together, could possibly pull this off. And I need to tell you that you got to be careful how everybody hear your plans. You got to be careful who you're sharing it with. You got to be careful what type of message is being told about you, because just on the just the fact that they overheard, just the fact that you have the backing to get it done, they know how much you had to dig up out of to be where you are. Nehemiah he's no stranger to this. He was born into captivity, and now he's working for the king. He is a cupbearer. He gets a letter of recognition and backing from the king. He gets resources, and watch this, and he gets protection. And so now here it is, Sanballat is upset. He overhears it, and he's grieved exceedingly and miserably every day, annoyed because Nehemiah and the people of God has a vision to rebuild the wall. And the reason why I want to put the word vision in there is because he didn't rebuild it yet. He hasn't even begun to lay one brick yet. But to have a vision is to have a systematic way, a step-by-step way of getting it done. Nehemiah has already planned it out. He knows what side of the wall he's going to build. He knows how he's going to position the people. He knows where the resources are coming from. He knows who he has to talk to. And because he has a vision, a step-by-step, somebody say step-by-step. A step-by-step, clear steps on how to get it done. It gives Sanballat the notion that the possibility of this thing getting done is inevitable. Do you not know that people don't mind you talking about it, but if you can lay out the steps, if you can tell them where you're going to go, how you're going to do it, who you're going to talk to, that means you have taken time to methodically plan it out. You know God is already giving you what to say. You know God is already showing you who to talk to. You know that you've already been told no 12 times, and being told no the 13th time is not going to bother you, because you're going to keep pressing, keep moving until God shows you that one yes. Can I talk to about 5 of y'all in here at a 9 a.m. service? You've been told more times than you can shake a stick at. But can I tell you, one yes from God can change the testimony. One yes from God can turn the whole thing around. Nehemiah has clear steps. He has clear step-by-step how to do it, directions. And listen, you can have a dream, but when you got a vision, it's different. Yeah, you can dream about it all day, but when you have a vision, a message comes along with it. It was a vision that God sent Moses back to Egypt to deliver the people step by step. He even told them, look, go borrow from your Egyptian neighbors. I've already given you favor with them. Every door you knock on, they're going to give it unto you. And through that, through the wilderness, being led by a pillar of fire at night and a cloud by day, he gets to a Red Sea, and God says, hold out your rod and watch me split the Red Sea hither and thither. Somebody say clear steps. And he says, now these Egyptians, you won't see them no more. When God gives you vision, listen, understand, when God gives you a vision, can't nobody stop it, can't nobody hinder it, can't no closed door can prevent you from going through it. When you got a vision, you may not see the end, but if you keep on walking out, the steps of a righteous man, come on here, are ordered. Somebody say by the Lord. This is even with Joseph. God showed Joseph that he was going to have people bowing down to him, that his parents was going to reverence him. God never showed Joseph the pit. He never showed him being thrown in prison. He showed him being the boss. He showed him the beginning and he showed him the end. Y'all missed that. I'm going to say it again. He showed him the beginning. I'm going to show you where you are. I'm going to show you how you grew up, but I'm going to show you where I'm taking you. Well, why didn't God show Joseph the prison? Why he didn't show him the pit? Because the middle of the matter has nothing to do with the end of the matter. I don't care where you are right now. I tend to tell you where God is getting ready to take you. He didn't show him the pit. He didn't show him the prison. It's a vision. And this is why every Sunday, this is why every opportunity that I stand, I got to be able to deliver a message, A message that will plant a seed. A message that can be deposited into your spirit. A message that if you let the Holy Spirit water it, it'll end up growing. A message that will get on the inside of you and won't let you sit still. A message that when you get ready to quit, it will shake you. It will move you. It will make you uncomfortable. Can I talk to some people in here? The reason why you're frustrated because there's more in you than what you're in. It's more that God has already deposited into you, and God will frustrate you. God will make you angry sitting in that middle of that meeting in the morning time on your job wondering why you're still here. And God said, because I put something in you. I've given you a word. I've given you a vision, and now I'm telling you that this is smaller than you. You got to think bigger. I know you grew up on the west side, but I need you to think bigger. A message that needs to be deposited. Every church should have a vision. Every family should have a vision. Every mother, every husband should have a vision. When you have a vision, it will better your life. It will better the congregation. It will better the community. It will better the people around you. Listen to me. You may be unemployed, but you need to have a vision to find the next job seminar. You need to have a vision that if as a ministry, that if they came in broke, we got classes on how to budget the money you got until you start making money. We as a church, we ought to have a vision that if they come in here and got plans to start a business, just like we put up on the screen, you need to show up to these classes so God can deposit something in you. If you sit up there and you want to know how to manage your money, how to come out of debt, why do you think we're having credit awareness classes? So you can understand what your credit is. You've been renting an apartment all your life. You grew up in an apartment. Your mama had an apartment. Your auntie had trailers, and you want to own your own home. Why do you think as a ministry, it ain't just we singing on Sunday morning and rocking back and forth just to make you feel good? We're here to deposit a seed in you so that something can grow in you. And then when you come to these classes, we got instructors, we got people that are professionals that do it every day to show you that you don't just have to be on limited income. Everybody's income can be limited if you stay sitting down, but if you get up and let somebody birth something on the inside of you, you'll see what God can do in your life. You can't sit at home watching Jerry Springer and think God gonna bless you. You got to sit in these classes and get some education. Will somebody shout glory? Children struggling in school. We ought to have a vision for tutorial classes. Nehemiah's enemy was miserable because this man had a vision. And here's what I want to tell you, Dr. Peterson, Nehemiah didn't even know that Sanballat was mad with him. Can you imagine how many people you walk around every day upset because of your vision? Can you imagine how many people can't stand you? And listen to me, and you don't even know that they can't stand you. Nehemiah had no clue that this man was grieved and vexed. Can I help you out? And you wondering what you can text back or post back to make them upset. I came to tell you they're already miserable. They're already miserable at the fact that you're talking about bettering yourself. They're already miserable because you're talking about what God is getting ready to do in your life. They're already miserable. That's why God says you got to pray for your enemies. You know why you got to pray for your enemies? I never understood why I had to pray for my enemies. I'm about to tell you why you need to pray, because they don't know who they playing with. That's why you got to pray for your enemies. They don't know you belong to God. They don't know what God done in your life. And if you don't pray for them, then God will be able to handle them. They don't understand. Let me get to it. Nehemiah had an enemy. And so you'll be amazed at how many people vex every day when they see you at the traffic light. And you sitting up there singing, you happy, you praising God, and they're mad, can't sleep at night, losing their hair because you coming up out of your situation. Nehemiah may have been worried, but watch this. Here's to understand this. Nehemiah may have been worried about them trying to kill him, but Sanballat couldn't sleep. Do you hear what I just said? Nehemiah may be worried about how he going to get the gates up, but Sanballat couldn't sleep. But listen, I'm trying to tell you, your problems ain't your enemy problems. And your situation ain't your enemy situation. They got a whole gang of situations on themselves. You ain't got to fight them. You don't have to bother with them. Just let them be miserable and you keep on working. Y'all, I'm going to say that one more time. Let them be miserable and you keep on working. I see your Apostle Sean. I'm going to say it to this side. You keep on dreaming. You keep on moving. You keep on believing God and let them keep on being miserable. The success of the wall got up under his skin. This is for somebody right here. Nehemiah was minding his business, but the success that he was accomplishing irritated them. How many minutes I got? I got about 15 minutes. Could it be that they're mad at the success that they can't stop in your life? See, here's the epiphany. They know what they're doing to you to stop you. You don't know it. But it's not stopping you. They know what they're doing to make you unhappy. You just don't know it. And you still ain't unhappy. They know what they're doing to sabotage your career. You just don't know it. But every project you get, you finish it. And every time they see you, what they're experiencing and what they're realizing, that there's a power greater than them that keeps you moving. Nehemiah's success got up under their skin, and so the success irritated them. The Bible says it grieved, it vexed them. To the point that when the people started returning from exile and living in Jerusalem, Nehemiah wanted to do something about it. Every day these people were coming out of exile looking at rubble. Every day they were coming out of exile looking at dilapidation. Every day they were watching people trying to find their way to rebuild back. And here it is, they were slaves. They were slaves to Babylon. They came out of exile with no wealth. The stench of bondage was on their clothes. They were weak because of the 70 years that they had been enslaved. They were worn out, low in numbers. But watch this. People start signing up to rebuild. Y'all too deep for me. Listen to me. They had nothing to work with. They had no money. They spent 70 years building somebody else's wealth. It took one man with a vision to give them purpose. One man that in spite of the little clothes on their back, they said, I'm going to put my hands to something. I'm going to be involved in something that's bigger than me. I know I don't have a pot in a window, but I tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to put my hands to something. It may not be my child, but that child needs shoes, and I'm going to put my hands to it. It may not be my light bill. My lights are on, but I got a little money left over. I'm going to put my hands to something greater than me. Here's where I get the topic from. I just gave you the ingredients that they came out of slavery with nothing. Had no money. Nothing but the wash pots and clothes on their back. And they had the audacity. DeAndre Peterson said, DeWano said, the nerve to try to rebuild a wall on a broken foundation. Man, that'll preach right there. Can I help y'all out, man? That you don't have enough money to go back to school, but you got the vision. You don't even know what the meeting's going to be about, but you had the vision. You riding every day on Sunday going through subdivisions, looking at houses, talking about that house looked just like me, and have nowhere to go on a broken foundation. The nerve of them to design a medical center. The nerve of them to design a 25,000 square foot new sanctuary. The nerve of them to start their own Christian academy. The nerve of them to want to send sprinter vans to the University of Alabama and Stillman College. The nerve. to restore voters' rights. The nerve of a church to have so many people coming 9 and 11, you parking in front of other folks' house. Here it is. This is the question. Jerusalem was lying in rubble, but there were cities around them that were being rebuilt. Did y'all catch what I just said? Jerusalem was lying in rubble, but other cities had already built back. Isn't it amazing that Moundville is 20 years behind Tuscaloosa? Isn't it amazing that Tuscaloosa is 20 years behind Birmingham? Isn't it amazing that Birmingham is 20 years behind Atlanta? That jokingly, some people say they need to get their passport in order to visit Alabama. That we are so behind in time. Other cities are moving on. Other cities are rebuilding. Other cities are advancing. Other regions, you can speak of names like New Birth, and names like Jamal Bryant comes to mind. You can mention The Rock, and names like PMJ comes to mind. You can mention the Highlands, and names like Chris Hodges come to mind. But when we get to Tuscaloosa, when we get to Moundville, and the further you go back that way, the further we go. If I'm not telling the truth, somebody tell me what I'm saying then. The further you go back, the further we go back in time. What am I saying to you? Just like Jerusalem, cities all around them were being rebuilt, but Jerusalem, God's people laid in ruins. And we got the nerve to cry and want to lay oatmeal cookies at somebody's statue because they're retiring from playing football. Y'all ain't gonna say nothing. And we want to holler, roll tide. I need you to roll your tail back to the house of God and give God some. Want to lay little Debbie cakes at a statue that can't even talk back to you. Cry to a statue that can't even adhere to your crying. Man, if you don't bring me them little Debbie cakes to fight at 520 Jersey Drive and put them things in my pantry, because I know somebody that'll roll something. On the third day, he rolled back the stone. You spent the little gas you had in your car. Come on, man, it made me feel like, it made me remind me of the scriptures when the prophet of Baals were up on the mountaintop and they built the altar and they called on their God, and their God didn't show up, and Elijah tore down the altar and put water on it and called on his God and said, whoever God answers by fire. And Nick Saban ain't showed up yet, but I know when you got a problem, who shows up? These were God's people. Let me give you these feelings. I gotta go, y'all. I done wasted my time. Y'all done took my hoop time from me. Let me go. I'm do better at 11. So understand, no matter how bad it looked, nothing can happen to God without God's permission. Their Babylonian captivity, listen, even though they were broke, they were ready to work. Even though they were destitute, they were ready to work. They were ready to put their hands to something. We can't keep coming to church and checking in and not putting our hands to work and then carry our little narrow hind parts up to the Alabama College Stadium crying about a statue that won't even answer back when you know who healed your body. You know who paid your bills. You know who kept the roof over your head. And listen to me, and the folk that's crying, I ain't seen one yet, come to the altar and get down on their knees and cry out to God. Could it be that God is saying we've made too many idols before him? We made too many gods before him. And understand this now. Here it is. Let me get to the text. Verse 3, can we put it up on the screen? Verse 3 says, I knew they were scheming to hurt me, so I sent messages back with this: I'm doing a great work. I can't come down. Why should the work come to a standstill just so I can come down to see you? I got 3 points and I'm out of here. I may holler one time in my last 5 minutes. Listen to me. The first point I want in your first feeling I want to give you, that the enemy will try to bring distraction. If you respond to the post that you think is about you, it's distraction. If you take time to give them a piece of your mind, it's distraction. If you got to sit there and try to pause and take away from the vision and the steps that God is giving you, it ain't nothing but distraction. If they can get you to pause just to pay attention to their pettiness, it's nothing but distraction. The enemy wants to distract you so you can stop the work. But would you look at somebody and tell them, I got a mind to work. I got to keep on working. I got to keep on having vision. I got to keep on writing my notes. Keep on vision what God is getting ready to do. Verse 4 through 8 says this: 4 times you would think they'd have had enough. 4 times they text me. 4 times they call me. 4 times they text me and hid their number. 4 times they went and told somebody else. They sent messages 4 times, and I gave them my answer 4 times. Y'all don't catch that right there. I'm not that deep, but that spoke to me. Ain't nothing changed from the last time that I told you I ain't fooling with you. Ain't nothing changed from the last time that you tried to stop me. Ain't nothing changed from what I went through the last time. If God delivered me the last time, he'll deliver me this time. I ain't changing what I told you. I'm not coming down. And the 5th time, he sent the same messenger with the same message. Look what it says. And this says that the message was unsealed. Everybody say unsealed. No, say it with a little authority. Unsealed. See, when a king sealed a letter, he sealed it with his ring. And so that when the seal was on it, it could not be opened until it got to the place of destination. But by Sanballat sending an unsealed letter, it was open for everybody. So not only was he spreading the rumors, he wanted everybody that read the letter to know what was going on with Nehemiah, so that, watch this, here's your second point, that it would discredit him. I'm teaching real good right here. I ain't got no choice. After the teaching y'all got last week, I got to teach real good. He's discredited. Listen to me. One of the enemy's attempt is character assassination. If they can't stop your project, they'll try to assassinate your character, because they know how much weight your name means in the community. But if they can lie on you, and if they can get other people to lie on you, to get other people to lie on you, to get other people to lie on you, to get other people to tell the same lie, then maybe it'll be some credibility to what they said. And that's why they got to put it out in the open. That's why they want to post it on Facebook. That's why they talking to the co-workers about you. That's why they telling their cousin them. That's why they running your name in the dirt, because the last 4 times you tried to lie, the last 4 lies didn't work. Can I talk to anybody in here? He sent it to him. He sent an open letter talking about how he was trying to be king, how he was trying to be bigger than everybody else. I want to go ahead and put my foot on that devil's neck right there. What you mean trying to be bigger than everybody else? What you mean think I'm more than everybody? I ain't thought about it. I am better. I am bigger. I am. more than a conqueror. I may holler one time right here. Verse 7 through 9 says this. They were trying, Apostle Shaw, they were trying to intimidate us. They were throwing wolf tickets. Some of y'all young folk don't know what I'm talking about. They were trying to intimidate us into quitting. They thought that we'll give up and never finish. I did find 7 people in here. Has that ever been your testimony? Huh? Have you ever ran into somebody out of all that messaging Sanballat was sending you? If you notice, he ain't showed up yet. Out of all that talking they do about what you're not going to do, I wonder, have they ever showed up yet? And here it is, Nehemiah says they were trying to intimidate us. Listen to me. The enemy, your enemy, our enemy, listen, he doesn't have the authority nor the power to stop you. But he can try to scare you into stopping yourself. And that's what he wants you to do. If he can get you to sit down, if he can get you to give up, if he can get you not to finish, then he's done his job. Sanballat sends a message and he tries to intimidate them. And here's your final D. Discourage. If he can discourage you, you won't get up and do nothing. He wants you to stay sitting right there and not move. But understand this, that God is worthy, your God is worthy of you staying in the fight. He's brought you too far for you to give up. Come on, stand on your feet all over the building. He's worthy of you hanging in there. After 70 years of incarceration, 70 years of bondage, 70 years of fighting for where you are now. I don't care how many words, I don't care how many letters the enemy send to you. One word from God will change it. Hear me, listen to the play on words. I don't care how many letters the enemy mailed to you. One word . One word from God will change everything. The nerve of them to try to make you quit, and the nerve of you to quit because they said so. If you're here today and you're hanging by a thread, I need you to know that, listen, God is, he's ready. He's ready, standing there with open arms to embrace you. Give me a